Let's bring on Animal. 1-0 defeat. First home game at Selhurst Park in European competitions, and yeah, it was it went not according to plan. Let's just say that.
It got to about 75 minutes, and I looked at my girlfriend. I said, "We're not winning this game. We're going to lose this game." We could have been there for another hour and not scored a thing. Look, people have been saying, "Oh, I think Larnaca looked decent and everything," and I thought they defended well for sure, but they were putting the ball out in their own half. They crossed it to Mateta in their own area, like at one point. They were trying to do our job for us, and we still couldn't score. The reason why, I just want to say quickly, Patrick, the reason why I give Lerma a bit of a hard time is because it's not because, like I don't think he's the best passer at all. And when we need to pass fast, it's not what we need. But it's also about the passes that don't get created when he's on the pitch. Like I would have started Wharton in the midfield with Hughes, and I would have had Lerma in the defence, right? And for me, it's about when we're up against those low blocks, right? We've got Mark pushing up the pitch. We had Canvo taking a shot on goal, by the way, in the first half, a very tasty shot on goal. So when we've got such, like, our defenders playing so high, and we've got our 10s getting congested in the final third of the pitch, what is it exactly that Lerma's there to do? Do you know what I mean? It's a very strange person to play when we're up against a low block. That's the reason that I round on Lerma a little bit, but it wasn't going our way at all. And I'm frustrated. I'm angry. And we've got to figure it out. Like you said, we have to work out, how to unlock these low blocks. But for me, it doesn't happen with Lerma in midfield.
Yeah, it doesn't for me as well. I said it to Patrick before the game started. It was a gamble. I think it was a gamble. And I said the ideal scenario would be Hughes or Lerma somehow have a good enough game and we win 1-0 or whatever, and then they play 90 and Walter Kamada's rested. But this was my biggest fear. Because for me, Lerma is very limited on the ball. Off the ball, he's great. He's physical, even in the air, with set pieces, everything in that regards. He's great. But in today's game, I was just hoping that Larnaca came out and didn't have five at the back. Maybe I'd four at the back and just attacked. So, we can have a bit more use of Lerma. But when you're 1-0 down and they're already sitting back as it is, there's no use for me. There's no use.
Yeah.
But Lerma wasn't the only player that wasn't good enough today. But Lerma was the one that really stood out to me before the game even started, to be fair.
I thought Hughesy was decent, to be quite honest with you. I thought Hughes had another good game. What I saw was when Wharton came on, was us putting these lovely little tasty diagonal balls into the area, and we needed to get something on it. But imagine if we had that the whole game rather than just the last 20 minutes. That's why it's frustrating for me, I think, today. That's why I'm a little bit more angry than usual.
Yeah, what about the 10s? I thought the 10s weren't great, Pino and Sa. For me, these types of games, Sa, like, he hasn't been bad against all low blocks, but ideally against low blocks, that's not where you get the best out of Sa, because Sa, he gets on the ball, gets in behind with his pace. That's his strengths, and when there's no space for him to run into, it's not that's not his game. So there was that question mark there. But Pino, he could have done a bit better. I just thought the 10s weren't really involved either.
Yeah, the today's game isn't the game to be sort of ripping it into Pino, because the 10s, when we're up against a low block, that we've seen this play out before. Ezza's been victim to this sort of performance before. Sa more often than Ezza, actually. Sometimes Ezza's the key to unlocking, sometimes he wasn't, and we got a result that we didn't like. But today's not the day to be sort of ripping it into Pino really hard. He made an effort, but it's the lack of taking the chances, and for me, I would have rested JP as well. Not because I thought his chances not getting put away is pissing me off. It's more to do with trying to preserve his energy, because he's playing 90 minutes out here every game, and we've got Arsenal again on Sunday. Is it Sunday that we're playing? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Saturday.
Yeah, Sunday, yeah.
So we've got Arsenal to think about then, and I would rather have a fit and firing JP ready for that game, and having Ketia being the man that gets into the, because I think we're encouraged to play a little bit differently when Nketiah comes on, and maybe that could have been the answer today, rather than sometimes knocking the ball forward to Mateta, having him hold up the play. Like, it takes a lot out of the big man, and he's doing it every single game. So, yeah, I think these chances missed and Mateta's fitness levels, I think, might be within the same sort of barrel of problems that we've got.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Patrick?
I don't think you're wrong. My only issue is, like I said, at some point you have to rest Wharton and Kamada. You have to. So if you don't do it today, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it against Arsenal. Then you'll probably do it against Liverpool next week. So you're basically sacrificing the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
I think the manager definitely thought that today with Pino and Sarr and Mateta starting, the usual front three, we'd have enough. You're absolutely right about the way Lerma plays. But I looked at the stats. He had 4 passes into the final third, whereas Warren had 5 in the time that he was on, and Hughes had like 7. But the thing is, he only misplaced 1 pass the entire game. But his passes are going to be lateral and backwards. We get that.
Yeah. That's the problem. Yeah,
right.
That's
so that's fine. But then that's why Pino and Sarr have to be better, and they weren't today. Pino and Sarr have to be more creative. Someone mentioned in the chat that when Sarr gets the ball, he really turns and runs at the defender. He likes the ball in behind the defender. They can run in behind the net and cross, played off the Munoz, whatever. So that's the thing. We have to get Pino into the game more. But again, like you mentioned before, we had chances. Listen, JP missed a chance. Mateta missed a chance. There was a great ball that Wharton put in that both Essay and Kamada missed late in the game. We had chances. But sometimes it's just not your day. Sometimes, and you're right. Like Adam, I'm the same with you. At 60 minutes, I'm saying we're not winning this game. I can just tell we weren't winning this game because you get a feeling in the game that when they score a goal like that, we're not going to score. We might get a draw, or we're not going to win the game. That's how I felt today. So I can't. I want to get upset, but I can't because sometimes that's how football is. So
you went all out attack towards the end of the game,
and we did. Went 4-4-2. Went all out attack. I mean,
I don't think he's gonna go as attacking as that in the next game against Alkmaar, but I do think our approach is going to be different. I would be surprised if he does the same.
By the way,
I know this is the dilemma, right? We've got 3 games coming up. Well, more than 3 games, but the next 3 games I'm looking at, because we got 3 games in 6 days or something. Right. We got Liverpool. You got Arsenal, then you got Larnaca. I think he had to take a gamble in one of those games about the midfield, because I don't think Wharton and Kamada can play all 3 of those games 90 minutes. And I think he just looked on paper and he said, look, I think there's a bigger chance of us beating Larnaca with Lerma and Hughes there than there is to beat Liverpool with Lerma and Hughes in that midfield. So we'll see what happens in those games. But yeah, it was a gamble. It didn't work. But what happens from here going forward? Because we're going to be in similar situations. Is he just going to have to hope that, Wharton or maybe I think Hughes is good enough to start there? Is he going to hope maybe Kamada plays 1 game and Wharton plays another game? I don't know how he's going to do it. But yeah,
look, my thinking for today was that because Adam Wharton wasn't part of international break, he had essentially 2 weeks off, right? Whereas Kamada played both of his international games. So I was thinking Adam can play 60 minutes and have that preset substitution happen on 60 minutes. If we're winning the game, fantastic. Then like Lerma can come on, or whoever needs to come on can come on, and Wharton can get his break, and then Kamada can do the opposite, right? And then we've got them both sort of fresh for Sunday. But look, it's spilt milk at this point, isn't it? And we've just got to move on and roll with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.